week. Radovanovic with his fist over the ball. Plenty of players around this footy. Radovanovic went back in there. Dow around there for the Blues laying the tackle. Umpire hovers around this. Might have been in the back. And it's going to be a free kick to Carlton. And it looks like it is Stefan Radovanovic. He'll take the free kick across half back for the Blues.
He's worked his way up to this level nicely, having come from the local ranks, Steph Radovanovic.
Yeah, real courageous defender, Carlton VFL listed player, so he'll be looking to try to push into the mid-season draft potentially. Real leader down back as well. So ball works its way up to the wing, down. Beauty into the middle. And looks like North can transfer play towards centre half forward. Kick is a good one. So North Melbourne looking to go inside forward 50. Kick to the leader, the goal kicker in Matthew Walker, and he's going to line up for his second. Very good offensive transition from North, and Walker will have a shot from around about 30 metres out. Tight angle. Probably want to aim this one towards the left-hand goalpost. Little bit of a breeze through the effects, Mike, but don't think it would be one to really favour either end at the moment. So Walker trots in, and he's kicked the goal. So North Melbourne have two, Matthew Walker has two, and the Roos hit the lead. 2 straight 12 to the Blues, 1 straight goal. And, well, that was a really, really nice transition there from the Roos, Adam.
It was out of a lot of congestion, making use of the, well, I suppose you can call it a turnover, the shot at goal that fell short for Motlop, and they went coast to coast. Pretty important for Matt Walker's confidence to get those 2 goals early. He was coming in today with 1 goal, 5 to his name for the season. So he's had his woes in front of the sticks, but has struck twice already, and North Melbourne find themselves in front in the early stages. Paddy Dow already up to 9 touches. Has been incredibly prolific so far today. Good bounce to restart play here in the middle. Edwards in ruck against Cripps. It'll be a North Melbourne clearance. Harry Jones. Bouncing ball. Bounced past Collins. Regained by Kemp, but then Collins held him up. Ends up with Dibb. He's been okay so far today as well. Bouncing ball eventually found its way through to Guthrie. Dibb in no space. Umpire said it stayed in play. Almost bounced all the way through there to Walker, but the Blues had some extra numbers. Kick for Crocker. Couldn't take it. No free kick. Hall gets it back for the Kangaroos. The 1-2, Marty Hall. Kicks to a 2-on-1. And in front, taking the relieving mark, was one of those Blues. It was Tom North.
So North, back pocket for the Blues. North Melbourne will look to hold this up inside forward 50. It's Trudgeon. Comes across and takes the mark. It's been a stalwart down in the back for the Blues through these opening rounds. Kick not the best. Hayes probably dropped what he should have taken. Let's North Melbourne in. North for the Blues. Little handball to Philp. Tried to step his way through trouble. Over to Hayes. His kick not the best. North Melbourne intercept. Good tackle there laid by Josh Cripps. And the umpire's called holding the ball. So Josh Cripps, he goes short. Fogarty to Hurst. One of those dangerous plays that can get forward to centre for the Blues. Lovely pick up by Glass McCasker. Went back to Hurst. His handball inside to Hanley. He's crunched by Anderson. 45 metres out from the Carlton goal. Umpire will cross himself and ball it up.
Anderson's been in the thick of it as well so far, just imposing himself wherever he can. And has got the 4 touches as well.
So from the restart, Anderson around the ball for North Melbourne. I think the umpire is going to call holding the ball here. Yeah, it's a textbook tackle. Pin the arm and Hanley will get the resulting free kick. Great tackle on Harry Jones. And he will line it up from right on the 50 paint. Good pressure by the Blues, Adam.
A bit further out than where Motlop had his shot only a couple minutes earlier. Good pressure all around in this game. It's a fairly even contest, this one. It's been entertaining to watch so far, halfway through the first quarter.
So Hanley wheels around on his right boot. This kick is sailing towards goal. Has it got the carry? I think it does. Scores level at Icon Park. Dave Hanley gets his first, gets the Blues second. And Hanley, it's been one of those handy VFL listed player for Carlton this year. Interesting to see him getting forward of centre as well. We saw him, he had a handy game against the Gold Coast about 3 weeks ago when the Blues travelled up to Metricon and had a very, very convincing win there. So he's another player to keep an eye on, as is Xavier Ma, who's going to line up in the middle for the Blues, and Jesse Motlop. So a heap of youngsters in the middle here for the Blues.
Not only are we dead level on the scoreboard, but the disposal count 47 apiece so far in this game of football at stoppage. Carlton leading the hit-out count 7-3, but North have the more clearances 6-4. Marks is 7-6. Carlton's way as well in this game so far. Inside 50s, North have had 4 more than the Blues. It's a 9-5 count on that front. We're back in the middle. Monkhorst got a nice handball out. North going into attack once more. No mark can be taken by Edwards. Dibb gets driven into the turf in a strong tackle, which results in a ball up. You can see the goal kicker, David Hanley, lurking here. That was his first goal of the season. Holding. Bit of ruck lotto maybe. Free kick, advantage paid. And finishing off was Harry Jones. Caught everyone else off guard. And North get the instant reply, and they're back out by a kick.
That's one way to reply for giving away holding the ball only moments ago. Free kick against Murkoff. I think he just got rid of his ruck opponent. Umpire called the hold, and very intelligent there from Jones to realise that everyone had stopped, taken the advantage, and away they go. Just, you mentioned the inside 50s. North Melbourne have had a handful more. I think last week was interesting as well. They did lose by 44 points, but they only lost the inside 50s 54-49. So I think efficiency, and you mentioned it earlier as well, that I'm just trying to find their targets going inside forward 50 as well. So that'll be something that the coaches look throughout during the game, isolating their forwards one-on-one. But good forward craft so far, and smarts up front from North Melbourne, and they do take this 1-goal lead.
And with the help of Coleman Jones, they did win the stoppage battle last week against the Dolphins as well.
So from the restart, Murkoff won the tap. Motlop trying to harass his opponent. Made a good tackle. Little handball out, flicked away by Gota. Now North Melbourne could transfer play towards this outer side. Answorth was the target. Had it well fisted away from him. Chincotta for the Blues. Just worried out of it. Good bump off the ball by Jed Anderson. Boundary line, probably Carlton's best friend at the moment, or a stoppage. Either way, umpire will cross himself. Another stoppage outer side here. So 3-on-3 inside forward 50 for North Melbourne at the moment. Deepest player down there. Interesting to see how North try to transfer play out of this stoppage, but for the time being, we'll have another stoppage here. Just the attacking side of the wing for North Melbourne, attacking towards this legend stand end of the ground. Big punch forward by Merkel. Fogarty was there, had to win a 2-on-1, couldn't. So North Melbourne just retreat for the time being. Trudgeon in there, he's wrapped up immediately, and the umpire's going to call a high free kick. The Blues will take the advantage. Fogarty. In front of the Hyundai logos, low darting ball to Crocker, had it fisted away from him. Hanley hovered over the top of it. Fogarty tried to go in there and help him out, eventually did. Won the handball back. Kick inside forward 50 for the Blues. Cripps was there, but a good intercept mark taken. And North Melbourne can transfer play with a switch. They're across full back here. Taking possession of the ball and going long up the line. They go towards halfback. Radovanovic for the Blues wrapped up.
Did right to get the hand pass out though to Hayes. And Coy got brought down in the tackle by Hinkley. That results in a turnover. Dibb wobbling ball over the top. He's nice, and nice mark taken by Jacob Edwards. On centre wing. 5 goals straight combined in this game so far. This is Jackson Archer. A lot of North fans interested in his progress, but this kick's not a good one. Well over the top of Josh Guthrie. We've got a boundary throw-in. He himself obviously has a lot of family connections within AFL circles. Yeah,
father-son, pick 59 for North Melbourne in the 2021 draft, Adam. Had a handful of games early for this North VFL team, so it'll be interesting to see how he develops as defender.
Murkoff has been quite strong in ruck so far, won that tap as well, but North might get the clearance. Guthrie, handball off, left foot ball from Anderson inside 50. Collins couldn't take the mark. He got tangled up with Radovanovic, and it goes out of play. In attack once more here for the Kangaroos. They're up by a goal. It's a time on opening term. It's round 6 action. 3rd versus 15th on the ladder, but not playing out that way so far. Now, was that touched off the boot or is it flat on the full? It's the latter. North Melbourne ball. And it's going to be taken by Harry Jones. Won't think about a shot here. Ignores the Collins lead. He might actually go for the shot. No, it's a lobbing ball for the top of the square. And Murkoff had to bite to the cherry, but does take the mark. And we've got a virtual kick in.
So Murkoff goes short to Marr. He gets a handball over to Dow. He'd be up into double-figure possessions now. That's position number 10 for Paddy Dow. Driving ball up the wing. Glass McCaskill was there for the Blues. Kick scurried forward by North. One-on-one, it's a foot race. Fogarty in hot pursuit of his opponent. They paddle it out in front of himself. Doing well there for the Roos was Hayden. He gets a handball over the top. Hurst, though, interception. Kick inside, forward 50. Do they get a mark, the Blues? They do. Philp. Really well done by Fogarty there against Kyron Hayden, who had the field position, had the ball in his grasp, but was just worried out of it. And a lovely kick forward by Hurst. And now Sam Philp. His best game this year, his best output probably came against the Gold Coast Suns, where he kicked 3 first-half goals. So Sam Philp, usually a nice finisher. Can he draw scores level? He can't. It's to the near side. So that's the first behind of the game. And the resulting kick-in will be taken by Matt McGuinness.
One of 9 AFL listed players out here today for North. That's the exact same number for Carlton. McGuinness into the pocket for Haw. He'll keep on running. Left foot's going to land just about on centre wing, and in best position to mark it was Chincotta for the Blues. Feigned the handball, then went deeper inside 50. It's a 2-on-2. Fist on the ball there. Came to Hurst, and he dribbles one through for the Blues. Very well read off the crumb for Cody Hurst. And the Blues get one back here at Icon Park. 5-point ball game.
Yeah, he's been one of those dangerous players forward of centre for Carlton pretty much all year. His ability to come inside on his left boot as well, and not just kick goals, but set up goals too. We saw him set up the shot for Phil Bunley moments ago, and forward craft to get front and centre, find the space in between players, and eventually have the shots. So Blues regain the lead.
Yeah, my apologies, the scoreboard had not ticked over here, so the Blues do lead by that point.
So back in the middle. Dow's in there for Carlton as well. He's worked his way up to 10 disposals at the moment. Leading possession getter on the ground by a long way. And there he is again. Disposal number 11 to Fogarty, to Hanley, to Boyd. He's wrapped up immediately. Good tackle by Will Phillips. Wins possession back. Might have been holding the ball. Couple in the crowd calling for it. Boyd goes back in. And we'll have a stoppage on the edge of the centre square. So this battle in the ruck continues. Moncourse won the tap though. There's Dow. Clearance inside forward 50. Motlop just didn't have the City's opponent, worried him out of it. Motlop went back in there, fed a little handball over towards Hurst, trying to barge his way through there for North Melbourne was right. Plenty of plays around this one. Motlop in there again for the Blues. Umpire hovering and hovering. He's still hovering, and he eventually crosses himself. So I think we've seen a lot of this, Adam, as well. Players really flooding back inside with these stoppages inside forward 50. Neither team really able to get space in these positions on the ground. Hanley in there for the Blues. Dow dispossessed, and the ball was held to him, and we'll have a ball up.
It's just the way of modern footy, I think, Paul.
I think so. I think they'll probably try to come up with a rule to clear it out soon.
There's a few ways you can do it, but if this game gets a little boring later, we might have time to talk about it. Fogarty, hand pass out, Dow for number 12, and this kick just a little too hot for Trudgeon. What he does do, though, is force a stoppage via tackle, Joel Trudgeon. Blues by a point at Icon Park. Motlop out, Fogarty, Williamson on the left. Does he get the angle right? I think so. 2 in a row for Carlton. And Tom Williamson kicks only his 2nd goal of the season.
He kicked a very important goal last week against Werribee as well. Almost a similar goal, really, that left foot snap. That one much more difficult, though. But,
he was running away from goal as well, so he really almost had to kick that over his shoulder.
Yeah, it was a fantastic finish. And he's another player, I think, for the Blues as well. I think he's been a little bit forgotten about as well. Early on in his career was almost a lock inside Carlton's team across wing and half back. But he's been pushed up the ground, I think with Daniel O'Keefe through this season in the VFL. So working his way up into the 20 disposal range and having much more of an influence too. In the contest this year from an attacking point of view as well. So he gets his first of the day. Carlton gets his fourth. And from the restart, it looks like North will win the clearance. They do indeed through Lazaro. Kick hovers its way out towards half forward. Radovanovic laid a good tackle on his opponent. It's a 2-on-2. Blues win out though. Handball to Fogarty. Went back to Radovanovic. On all fours, he tried to scurry after the football. And did he dive on top of that? He did indeed. So it'll be a free kick holding the ball, North Melbourne. And he's given it the other way. It's a reversal. I think Radovanovic was taken on a 50. And the Carlton faithful at Icon Park like that as well. So it was initially a free kick to North. The reversal was paid and Radovanovic gets the 50-metre penalty.
Just on Tom Williamson, he's been on the list since 2017 where he played 15 games and played another 15 in 2020 as well. Yeah, he's not had great opportunity, has he?
Yeah, I think those years through 2018 and 2019 as well, he had a serious back injury too, which didn't help. So the ball right towards the teeth of goal there is off hands and through for one behind.
Yeah, 11 games last year in the AFL, 15 in both 2020 and 2017. So 8-point ball game now. Hoare toward this near side of the ground. Big pack will form here. Glass McCasker tried a couple of times to mark it but couldn't. Answorth, he's put into the deck by a fairly solid bump from Lou, the debutant. Dow gets it back, used his vision beautifully for Cripps. And for a number of reasons, Carlton fans would have loved to see that.
Yeah, younger brother of Paddy. He kicked two very, very important goals late in the game against Werribee last week to pretty much put the icing on that game. Developing prospect as a tall forward.
Well, both those goals were in open play. What does he do here with the set shot? Right side for the left footer. And that wasn't far off. They're peppering at the moment, the Blues.
So Dow, one possession back from the kick in. Kick towards Will Hayes. Just had it fisted away from him. Now North can almost get out of danger. Blues creep up on them. They try to work it out through hand. They do really well. Boyd wrapped up immediately. Handball back. Might have been dragged in by Stevens. Umpire's going to hover and call it. Yep. That is textbook dragging it into the contest and holding it up. And the free kick be taken now by North. They come towards this outer side. Mark taken by Patrick Walker. So they potentially do have the switch on here. And I think there's going to be a 50. Yeah, it's going to be paid against Cripps.
Protected area.
Yep. So his man just got away from him and North Melbourne will get a shot at goal.
That is one 50-metre penalty apiece. Now to free kick count 5-4 Carlton's way in this first quarter.
So looks like the set shot is going to be taken by Charlie Lazaro. He actually had quite a decent game against Carlton in the AFL last year when the Roos knocked off the Blues later in 2021. So Lazaro, what can he conjure up from the set shot? He can conjure up a goal. So North Melbourne answer back. They go to 4 straight 24. The Blues 4-3 27.
That breaks the run of a couple of goals for the Blues. Paddy Dow has already had 14 touches in this first quarter, then 6 for Lockie Fogarty, and then 5 each for the Kangaroos, Anderson, Goda, and now Marty Hoare.
Yeah, he's a player that I think Blues fans and supporters and members have been keeping a very keen eye on. And I think from his perspective, well, hard to get in that Carlton midfield early in the season, but what I think his coaches would love about him is that he's been a real leader down here, and he's been arguably, alongside Will Hayes, probably the best midfielder and one of the best prime movers for the Blues in this VFL team, leading by example as well.
This bounce will fall out of the circles. It was definitely going to favour Jacob Edwards, and we go again. A fair bit of talk this week about the centre circles and ruck rules and ruck free kicks and the future of the bounce itself. Still inside the centre square. Powell, Edwards, Dibb. All this by hand has gotten North Melbourne inside 50. It was one back though by Stevens. Handball for Acoy. And then Hayes goes down the line. Hinkley couldn't take it. Anderson thrown out of play by his fellow number 3 there in Jesse Motlop. Not far away from the North Melbourne bench. Some attention for Jack Lipskin. Near where the boundary umpire here will bring it back into play. 15 touches, 10 of those kicks for Paddy Dow. 3 tackles as well. Boundary throw in. Both rucks hug each other as the ball arrives. Anderson did well. Hand pass to Watkins. Around a corner kick now from Jones. Acoy does well. Takes the relieving mark here for the Blues.
So Acoy, his short kick to Kemp. It's not the required 15. Steps inside his opponent. Just got the kick away. Nearly a turnover. Through hands. Will Hayes, a high up and under kick. Carl sitting under it. Trudgeon wrapped up immediately by Harry Jones. Ball spills free. Anderson. Handball over the top, not the best boundary line. Probably the best friend for North Melbourne in that situation. And we'll have it tossed in. Anderson just working his way up to 6 disposals now, coming back from a hamstring niggle. He'll be one of the class midfielders North will try to use to foray forward. Murkov, Ma, kick inside forward 50. It's a high up and under. Glass McCasker sits under it. Was the only one who really wanted it. Takes it unopposed. And he says to the goal umpire, I'm going to probably go back and have a shot. Well, he has to now. On the quarter time siren, Jesse Glass McCasker was picked up in the off-season by the Blues, a former Carlton listed player. Was recruited as a key defender under Stephen Silvani when he was list manager, now playing up forward. He's going to go the barrel, and that's, well, not his greatest effort, and does not register a score. So, scores here at quarter time in round 6 of the Smithies VFL. It's the Blues leading at 4-3-20 Collingwood at the moment, 86-14 against Coburg. But second quarter action underway here at Icon Park.
Monkhorst and Murkov in the middle here. And North Melbourne will get the clearance to start this second term. That's a nice mark taken by Radovanovic against Dibb. Lateral ball for Williamson. Looking to get on to the end of the 1-2 here. Acoy might need to help him. Williamson does gather it. Almost ran out of room there. Matt Walker looked to take him out of bounds. Acoy then got it and had 2 Kangaroos pounce on him. Sun's just stuck behind the clouds here, so we've got overcast conditions now at Icon Park after a sunny first quarter. Blues by 3 points. Boundary throw in, dead centre wing in front of the interchange. And both rucks let it go to ground. I think Murkov might have taken Monkhorst out of it. Anderson over the top of it. Now Philp goes into the turf, and umpire calls for the stoppage just as the ball did indeed pop out.
It's interesting to see Philp move on the ball now for the Blues. Murkov won the tap. Trudgeon hovering over the top of the football. He's racked up by a couple of North Melbourne players. One of those, Will Phillips. Jed Anderson in the thick of things as well. He's one of the leading disposal getters on the ground. 7 touches. As we said, coming back from that hamstring niggle. And there is going to be a free kick going the way of the Blues. Williamson takes the advantage. Fogarty. His kick inside forward 50. Couple of one-on-ones. Carl went up. Little tap towards Crocker. He'll kick a goal, Ben Crocker. Gets his first of the day. Carlton get one early in the second term. I think most Carlton fans would have been looking out for him with those tattoos and shiny pink boots at him. He has been a lively target up forward for Carlton, not only this year but last year as well. Leading goal kicker for the club last year at VFL level, and he's doing much of the same this year.
Now only one goal behind the leader in the Frosty Miller medal race, which is Jacob Townsend up at Southport. Is Ben Crocker with 15 goals for the season. And he's a very easy one to spot with the body artwork and the bright pink boots.
Matching it too with goals as well, which helps.
Those pink boots are making a clear statement that what he wants is, the likes of you and I, to notice him in a game of football. And Ben, we certainly are. You're having a great season so far. North will get another clearance out of the middle here. That part of the game is okay for North Melbourne. Dib got a little shove from Radovanovic. It's when they go inside 50 where they're having trouble, North Melbourne, at the moment. Dib's kick forward's okay. Lazaro. Anderson had some time to get onto that left foot, but Okoye did well in the marking contest inside 50. Edwards going nowhere. And we'll have another stoppage.
Really love the intensity of Brodie Kemp early in this contest too, laying another tackle there. And we saw early in the first term his defensive and spoiling efforts were second to none.
Great tap down by Murkoff down to Hanley, and then the clearance from Kemp. It's going to bounce in the pocket. He did go across goal with that kick, which can be dangerous inside defensive 50. Dow coming up for disposal, number 17. Hayes down the line. I think it was intended for Fogarty, but the mark was instead taken by Boyd. Has that gone 15 metres? It has. Right now, we're looking at Ned Carl. Right foot. It's going to land just beyond centre wing. Here's Cripps. Just keeps making all the right impressions, this Josh Cripps. Long ball inside 50. Motlop waiting out the back. All of the North Melbourne defenders misreading it. Radovanovic had space in the corridor, and he'll be the one to line up for Carlton to extend this lead out to a game high of 15.
Absolutely love that from Josh Cripps. He just waited, took his time, he assessed all his options forward of centre, and was able to hit a fantastic pass out to Jesse Motlop, who, as you said, Adam, the Blues forwards just read it much better.
He's kicked two behinds this year, Steph Radovanovic. Spends most of his time at the opposite end of the ground from here. The boy out of Keilor, right football, has his first goal. And Carlton's sixth, and it's a 15-point lead for the Blues.
Yeah, all the youngsters for Carlton getting involved early in this second term. Motlop there setting up the goal, and again, just to go back to Cripps' passage of play there, I think not really a knock on him, but I think just his involvement in the game sort of in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season had been a little bit down, but he's really starting to work into the year as well, and starting to have an influence on the contest. So I think maybe those two match-winning goals last week might have given him the world of confidence, I think, Adam.
Currently parked in the goal square at full forward is Josh Cripps. He's got a lot of great size about him. Good poise, good use of the footy. It's a good little passage that little bro has.
Speaking of size, it's Monkhorst and Murkoff to go up in the ruck. That is beautiful ruck craft down to Paddy Dow. Had his curtails pulled on, but still got the kick away. Inside forward 50. North Melbourne figure it out via hand. It's okay. Long ball down the line. So they come inside now. It's not the worst kick, but reading it very well is Jesse Motlop. Kick was intended for Will Phillips. Motlop plays on immediately. Goes towards Crocker, who's out the back. Couldn't beat the 2-on-1. Goes back in, lays a good tackle. Josh Cripps in there, put his body on the line. Handball to Williamson. Tries to step through trouble. Don't argue. Handball to Boyd. He's got a flying shot towards goal from 50 metres out. And he slotted it. Fantastic goal, Jordan Boyd. Probably was created by Crocker. Had to beat two North Melbourne defenders. Ended up winning the ball back. Williamson with the don't argue. And a fantastic finish from Jordan Boyd.
That's 3 goals in a row now to start this second term for Carlton. And all of a sudden, their lead has shot up to 21 points. North did have a lead in the middle of the first quarter. Carlton have kicked 5 of the last 6 goals in this game. Back in the middle. That bounce stays inside the circles. It did favour Murkov. Monkhorst feeding the handball out to Walker. Got brought down in the tackle. Chance here for the Blues. Philp. Handball to Motlop, just a bit too hot, but Motlop did eventually get it. Tried to get it to Hurst, but he couldn't. Archer goes in hard. You'd expect nothing less from him. Still a Carlton ball here in the pocket. One way to the other. Then the snap on goal is missed off the left boot by Ned Carl.
So, resulting kick in. Here to be taken by Hayden. Blues really peppering away early in this second term. They've had all the play. 3 straight goals. Kemp went up. Good mark by Radovanovic. Coming across as the third man in that contest. He goes with the ball inside 50. Crocker the target. Had to become defender in that situation. Crocker went back in there. Took on the tackler. It's got to be holding the ball, and it is. So North Melbourne will try to relieve a little bit of pressure. Kick is long up the line. Skews off the side of the boot. Kemp sat under it, over his head, just misread it. Glass McCasker. Acoy went in there for the Blues. He's wrapped up. Held to him, umpire hovering. And we'll have a ball up right in front of the broadcast position here at Icon Park.
Paddy Dow has 10 more disposals than the next best player for disposals on the ground, which is Jed Anderson, and then a bunch of Blues players.
That 60 could be on Adam.
Trickling ball at half forward here. Archer will eventually gather it. Had to get the hand pass out and did. Right. Interesting ball, that one. Lazaro did well. Anderson leaving it behind for North Melbourne. Boyd forces it inside 50. One-on-one. Crocker got rid of Archer. Now has to go back and fetch it. Ricochets off his boot. The call is going to be for a boundary throw in next to the behind post. 18 touches now for Paddy Dow.
Yeah, Crocker starting to get involved in this second term as well. There's danger signs for North Melbourne.
Ball thrown in. Hinkley couldn't find the teammate by hand. Crocker regains it. Hayes around the corner trying to set up Williamson. Here's a chance now for Ma. Eventually got around onto that right boot, but the kick was smothered. Dow for 19. Not effective that time. Phillips gets it for the Kangaroos. Kick into the middle. Good for Jed Anderson.
So Jed Anderson, they can get out the back here, North Melbourne. Long kick inside, forward 50. Acoy did well. At the fall of the ball is Watkins. Really good smother from Dom McCoy. Williamson. Hayes. Now the Blues can just relieve a little bit of pressure. Kick from North out wide. Xavier Ma. He's got target up further afield. Not the best of kicks, although they win out here, the Blues. They can go inside forward 50. Hurst is the target. Kick out the back. Hayden's got best spot. Tapped it to a teammate. They work it out via hand here to Wright. He's got time and space inside defensive 50. His kick, it's a dangerous one. Radovanovic sat under it through his hands, and the umpire's going to call a block. It's a free kick to North. They take the advantage. Handball over the top to Walker. Over the top, went towards Watkins. His kick inside, forward 50. It's all Carlton here, though. They've got heaps of time to just gather the ball. Fogarty, relieving mark across half-back. His ball back inside. And now lose a target. He was a train-on player for the Blues in the pre-season, training with the AFL listed boys. So Murkov sits under this, takes a good mark. Big height advantage over Marty Hall. And the Blues can go through centre wing.
Players looking in the sun here, 2 Roos against 1 Blue, and the numbers win out here for North Melbourne. Jones sending it back toward the wing. Murkov has to go again. Got some high contact for his trouble. That might be 50. It will be, because Collins played on and sent North Melbourne forward when he shouldn't have. So we're going to see Alex Murkov almost be brought within scoring range. We'll see what the umpire stops.
Now, one thing he has improved on, Alex Murkov, is definitely his kicking in the off-season. Last season, when he came into the Carlton team, he was very, very handball heavy, and it was understandable. And interesting to see what his set shot looks like.
Hasn't kicked a goal yet so far this season. The mark was set at about, I would call that about 42 metres. We'll have to kick this one from around the arc. We'll probably just step inside. Murkov's kick, it looks pretty clean, but he did just hook it to the left. North Melbourne want to bring it in quickly. It's Tom Powell that has it.
So, work it up towards half-back here, North. Comes out wide. So, short kick from Hinkley. Slow, methodical build-up from North Melbourne. Carlton trying to force them long, but it's a good kick. So, low darting ball's chopped off. Blues had that press set up. Hanley went in there, almost caused a turnover, causes a stoppage. And we'll have a ball up between wing and half forward for the Blues. As we said, they've done all the attacking in this second term. Try to win the clearance, they don't. It goes the way of Hayes. He's kicked to a one-on-one inside, forward 50. Fell into the lap of Carl. He's shot towards goal. It's a wobbly one, but it's straight. 4 goals to zip in this second term for Carlton. 53 plays 24. And, well, we said the danger signs were there for North, Adam, and able to get field position, the Blues. Clearance from the contest, and all the names are bobbing up now. Ned Carl's on the scoreboard.
Round of grounds, 14-14, 98. Collingwood leading Coburg 1-9-15. That is a bit of a belting, unfortunately, for the Lions at Piranha Park. 5 goals for Ollie Henry, 3 for Mason Cox in that one for the Pies. 19 touches for Jai Badley-Kelly for Coburg, and Campbell Hustwaite has 18. Mason Cox having a good day. 20 hit-outs, 17 disposals, and 3 goals won. He's having a bit of a day out. 7 clearances as well at Piranha Park. Here, the Blues are kicking away. 8-5-53 to just 24. North Melbourne haven't scored yet in this second term. Murkov wins another tap, but Anderson makes sure that Lockie Fogarty's going nowhere. Trudgeon tried to get it out to Fogarty. What's the umpire saying here? Trudgeon might have been dumped in the tackle. And the Blues will get the free kick out of the middle. Eventually it does come back to Joel Trudgeon. Sends it long and direct inside 50. Crocker arriving late. Monkhurst spent it before he had it. Murkov getting involved as well. Walker trying to spin away from danger. Powell also had it and lost it. Ricochet through to Crocker. Dibb comes in and steals it for the Kangaroos. Hand pass out wide. Hinkley has got a bit to do. Hand pass comes back. Watkins down the line. Nice ball. North Melbourne worked out of danger nicely there. Kick forward by Lipscomb. Ended up with Answorth. We go wide to Collins. One leads on offer in the pocket for Lazaro, and he does do well. We've seen North do that a few times today in transition. But Lazaro's got a fairly tough angle to deal with here.
Yeah, much better defensively from North Melbourne as well. Obviously Carlton winning that clearance from a free kick, but able to get up on the Carlton forwards. And we saw that transition in the first quarter. It was dangerous, and now Lazaro having this set shot at the end of it.
Did kick a goal in the first quarter, did Charlie Lazaro. And this one will go across the face, almost as if it was pushed across the face by Mother Nature. I think there is a bit of a wind that he's going to the legend stand today. Maybe that's what happened to that ball. Right now we're looking at Xavier Marr.
So Marr to Fogarty, another one of these AFL listed lads for the Blues. Gets a handball to Handley. His target is Cripps. He's worked across half forward really well in his second term, and another 50-metre penalty. maybe a little bit stiff on Patrick Walker. Said he was following Paddy Dow, but nonetheless, it's going to be a set shot at goal for Josh Cripps. Little bit stiff.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where if you're going to be giving 50 for anything, it needs to be something, the offence needs to be having some sort of impact on whatever the play is at that moment. I'm not sure. That protected area, you come an inch inside it, what are you actually affecting? You're being punished for having no impact on the game.
That's exactly right. And speaking of punishment, Jack Cripps puts it straight over the goal umpire's hat. And he gets another one for the Blues, and they have skipped right away here. 5 goals to zip in this second term. 9-5 plays 4-1.
This is where North keep running into trouble in Smithies VFL. We saw Frankston get away from them a couple of times last week up at Skybus Stadium. When they do concede, they concede in a hurry. Lee Adams' side.
Yeah, they conceded 6-5 in that first term as well when they were blown out of the water by Frankston early.
So that's 5 unanswered goals in this second term for the Blues. They've kicked 5 goals, 2. North only have that 1 behind from Charlie Lazaro a couple of minutes ago. Good bounce to restart play. Edwards still in the middle here for the Kangaroos. They'll get the clearance through Philip Sekoy, third man in the contest. Holding the ball. Paid against Harry Jones, and Kemp will take it. In the bright blue boots. Here's Brody Kemp. Kick intended for Hayes, but it fell short of that. Sprayed the kick. Collins couldn't take the pick-off mark. Hayes did well. Got the handball out, but then Boyd ran out of room. We got a boundary throw in.
Played that beautifully, Boyd.
Just outside the arc here. A little smattering of fans at Icon Park. Of course, we've got an AFL matchup between these two sides later today at Marvel Stadium. Dow, disposal number 20. Guthrie. It was touched off the boot, so he couldn't have the mark paid. And he'll consider himself unlucky there, Josh Guthrie, as he did bravely go back. Murkoff, great tap down to Motlop, but Guthrie was right with him. Trudgeon. Hayes, back to Trudgeon. That was touched off the boot as well. Tapped out of bounds.
So Blues have been able to really get field position as well from the contest, and that's been the Michael Voss DNA early in the piece for Carlton, winning the ball at the contest, and inside 50 count was almost even at quarter time. It's now in favour of the Blues, 23-18. So from the restart, Jordan Boyd with a clearing kick. Cripps went up for it. Alec Wright leads the pursuers for the football. He's helped over the line though by Ned Carl. And the Blues will get a stoppage, a throw in. Pretty much right where the 50-metre paint meets the boundary. Jed Anderson around this one for the Roos as well. Glass McCasker now in the ruck duties. Trudgeon, wrapped up by Anderson. Got the handball away. Kick towards the boundary. Now, is that insufficient intent? Yeah, the umpire rushes in at 100 miles an hour. And he was always going to call that Fogarty. Waste no time. Driving ball towards a pocket. 3-on-1 in favour of North. Ball ends up with Ben Crocker. He snapped towards goals. A beauty. No, it's just hit the post. Oh, Ben Crocker. He kicked a very similar goal early in this second term. Just not able to bend that back enough. And the Roos could probably, hopefully, release some pressure here.
It had the right to left about it, just not enough in the end for Crocker. That goal would have brought him level with Jacob Townsend. He's the leading goal kicker in Smithies VFL. McCoy goes up affecting the contest, but Anderson gets North Melbourne to the wing. Answorth harassed by Fogarty. A lot of humanity over the top of this ball. Will be sorted out with the ball up. As Josh Guthrie comes sprinting off and Lazaro comes on. As will Tom Powell. for Harry Jones. Edwards, Archer, handball intercepted. Well done, Hanley, for Carlton. Hurst now laying a tackle on Hamish Murphy, one of the late inclusions today, holding the ball. Blues have it. Hurst might be too far out to score here. Crocker's on the lead in the pocket. Nice left foot ball by Hurst. And here's Ben Crocker's chance to go level at the top of the Frosty Miller medal leaderboard.
It's really smart from the Carlton forwards there. They bunched up in the middle and there was a massive leading lane out there for Crocker to work into.
He'll play on, come off his line again. It's going to go right to left. Last one was a poster. This one falls short on the near side. A couple of behinds for Ben Crocker. 36-point ball game.
So Carlton have really put the foot down in this second term. And what can North Melbourne respond with? Radovanovic up in front of the contest. Handball falls away the Blues. Dow again to Kemp. Back to Dow. One way then the other. Throws it on his boot. Back inside forward 50. Archer went up. Motlop for the Blues. Fogarty sits over the top of it. He's wrapped up well by Hinkley. Umpire hovering. Ball eventually comes out. Williamson lays the tackle. And we eventually get a stoppage around about 40 to 45 metres out from the Carlton goal. So Monkhurst won the tap for North. Fell into the lap of Cripps. He was dispossessed. Now North can get a couple of handball chains going. Dibb. He's got a few targets. Chincotta gets up on his opponent. Really well done there, though, by Watkins. Now they can 4-0 forward. Dibb. Long ball inside forward 50. Radovanovic sitting under it. Big fist away by Glass McCasker. And now the Blues can transfer play.
Williamson had time to stand, look and deliver. Impeded in the marking contest was Ned Carl. It was Patrick Walker giving away the free kick. Free kicks 13 to 10 Carlton's way in this game. Carl has to get on with it. 2-on-2 on the wing. North had a couple of runners out the back. Archer had to stretch for that handball receive and couldn't. Then he tackled Motlop. Hayden gets it back. Hand pass to Hinkley, who goes down the line. Watkins just got held up, couldn't take it. Carl again getting involved. Kick forward for Fogarty was good. Now looking to centre, but Lipscomb in the right spot here for North Melbourne. And he's been told to play on. So he goes lateral for Lazaro. Only one option to go to, and that was McGuinness. They're just a bit stagnant here at the moment, North Melbourne. A couple of players standing still, asking for it. McGuinness will have no option but to go long. It'll land on centre wing. Lipscomb was affecting the contest. Radovanovic, Stevens, Fogarty, look at that space in the middle.
So Fogarty's got a paddock to run into. Oh, the bounce just eluded him though, and it's a turnover. North Melbourne can go back the other way through Watkins. Kick over the top to Jed Anderson. And he can potentially go back and line it up. He will indeed. Well,
if not for a botched bounce, it's actually a Carlton player that's lining up for goal right now.
Exactly right.
Because Fogarty had so much space in the middle. Could have even gained another 20 or so before disposing of it. Instead, we're looking at Jed Anderson at the other end.
It looked like it was going to be a raffle. But again, that's just a little bit of perceived pressure from North Melbourne. Obviously a skill error, but they need to do more of that. So Jed Anderson, as we said earlier, back into this team. Off a hamstring niggle. What can he conjure up? It's a goal. So Jed Anderson gets his first of the day, gets North Melbourne's first of the second term. And to say they needed that is a massive understatement. They go to 5-1-31. Margin is an even 5 goals. And, well, Jed Anderson, he's probably been the lively player for North Melbourne throughout this game, working his way up to 11 disposals. He's the leading disposal getter for North Melbourne. Made a good return, probably been one of those prime movers for North in the midfield. He's probably been really the only bloke in there that's really tried to foray them forward at him.
Yeah, I mean, Powers had a bit of an impact as well, but hasn't had a lot of game time. He's been coming on and off the bench a little bit so far today. This is Jed Anderson's second game for the season. Got 23 touches the first time out. Back out here today, Ainsworth. North have done well in this category. Clearance is out of the middle, but the pressure from Carlton forced the mistake. Hayes, Fogarty, out wide for Carl, who's had quite the impact in this game. Too far out to score. Disposal number 10 coming up. Big right football, big Alex Murkov. It slips through his hands though. Ball popped up in the air. By the time it comes to ground, we see Dow get tackled immediately by Ainsworth. Will Hayes. He was worried out of it as well by Lipscomb. Ball's cleared out by Wright, but it's going to come back in through Kemp. And again, the Blues have numbers through the middle of the ground. Philp now in the corridor. Sun shining once more at Icon Park. Ben Crocker has to double back because his lead was ignored. Philp will lob one high. 2-on-2 at the fall. No mark was taken. Crocker with the tackle on Kyron Hayden. McGuinness going all the way back. Now Murphy one way then the other. Another 2-on-2. Almost trying to take the mark behind him was Matt Walker. Another ball in, but it was just a bit too shallow, and this will be a mark and 50-metre penalty going Alec Wright's way.
I think that's number 5 now for the game. So, Alec Wright goes with the handball inside. Can they go forward? North Melbourne, it's a risky handball. Getting it back there was Phillips. Gets a handball over the top, and now North Melbourne go inside forward 50. Is a kick a little too wide? It is. It's out of bounds on the full. And it'll be Lou to take the resulting free kick. So, North just having a little bit of a patch here, getting it back inside forward 50. Geez, the kick's a dangerous one. Boyd trying to clean the mess up. Acoy. Low darting ball outside of defensive 50's okay. Hayes. Radovanovic. Handball inside to Dow. He's got Hanley for company. Crocker's leading back into space. Goes in that direction. Too easy. Ben Crocker marks 45 metres out. He'll have a set shot from directly in front.
He's missed a couple in this quarter, has Ben Crocker. This is the best angle he's had, but does have to cover a fair bit of distance. And as we had after the quarter time siren, we'll have a shot after the siren going into the main break here.
So Ben Crocker potentially does have the wind at his back. It's a little bit of a swirly one. You can probably hear it through the effects mic, but Ben Crocker, what can he conjure up? He's already kicked 1 goal in this quarter. And he's hit the post again. So a bit of an anticlimactic end to the second term, but it is the Blues who have skipped away with a 31-point lead here in this second half.
Murkov and Monkhorst will do battle. Umpire taking a while, but if it results in a good bounce, we'll let him get away with that. It didn't. It escaped the circles. So it'll be thrown up. A false start to this third quarter. Umpire throws it up now. Murkov got an early jump on Monkhorst. Marr will get the clearance for the Blues. It's a very high ball. It'll stay in the centre square, in fact, and Lipscomb arriving very late and cops some friendly fire as well. Took a pretty good mark, and he's very slow to get up. McGuinness was who he collided with. Jack Lipscomb. Now you wonder if he can take his kick as he has a chat to the medico.
That is one of the more courageous marks you'll see at this level. So the kick is an absolute shocker. Glass McCasker, maybe Lipscomb just feeling the effects of that hard bump. Boyd, driving ball inside forward 50. Crocker the target, just through his hands. Ball falls out the back. Archer with the handball. Over the head as his intended targeting Collins. Fogarty may be dragged off the footy. Williamson for another snap. And he gets his second. He's kicked 3 goals this year, Tom Williamson, 2 in this game, and they've all almost been identical. Another snap, another goal for the Blues. Fast start here in this second half. And that turnover just really hurting North Melbourne across half back. Blues able to rip out the back and get a very easy goal.
North +1 in clearances, but 28-12 in hit-outs for the Blues, with Alex Murkov amassing 24 of those, 8 for Zach Monkhorst and 3 for Jacob Edwards. He's got a sizable advantage as Alex Murkov and the Blues pick up where they left off. Dark clouds overhead, but we've got some sunshine. Anderson out into open space. Trickling ball, overrun by Lazaro. Reclaimed by Stevens. Williamson, the goal kicker. Full 360, eventually hand passed out to Dow. That's disposal number 26. Ball hung in the air a long time. Glass McCasker couldn't take the mark. North got it back, and now Monkhorst has it. As we go through the corridor, Chincotta had to keep it in front of him. Luckily, Radovanovic was out the back. Pushed off his kick was North. It trickles wayward, and Philp picks up the loose ball at half back.
So Philp, was he dealt with after he kicked the ball? Yeah, it was. It's going to be a free kick downfield. Lockie Fogarty will take it. Out of side here at Icon Park as the wind really picks up towards this Legend stand end of the ground. So Fogarty, geez, that is a shocking kick. Low underground ball. It's actually going to work out in the end. Hayes gets a handball out. Kick inside, forward 50. Hurst the target. Well fisted away from him. Went back in. Paddled it out in front of himself. Got a handball. Hurst is going to go back in there and try to lay the tackle. Is the boundary line going to beat them? It is. We'll have it tossed in. Cross half forward for the Blues again. Doing pretty much all the attacking early in this third term. Murkov and Monkhorst do battle in the ruck. Neither able to really win a tap. Hayes slipping his way through trouble. Got the handball back up towards a hotspot. Is this going to float out the back of the contest? It is, but North have got the numbers. Fogarty just getting up on his opponent. Handball to Collins over the top. It's okay. They can relieve a little bit of pressure here. Lipscomb takes the mark. Seems to have pulled up okay after that big tumble and knock he took when taking that courageous mark earlier.
Committed the turnover last time. He goes longer here. Nice mark taken by Edwards. Just mistiming his jump there was Tyrese Lew on debut. Edwards down the line with his kick. Holding while the ball was in flight. Carlton's weight to be taken by Steph Radovanovic. He's had a good day today. Now back where he's more accustomed across half back. North. Kicks intended for Hurst. Nice build up so far by the Blues. Hurst on the left for Crocker. He'll be the one to send Carlton inside 50. Kept it low. Just slipped through the hands there of Glass McCasker. Then Motlop quickly gets a shot away, but it's wayward and out of bounds on the full. Lipscomb will reclaim it for the Kangaroos.
So move it quickly. Lipscomb up the line. Marty Hall. His kick inside. It's a dangerous kick. Boyd chopped it off. Had a kick and a half away from home here, the Blues. Boyd just called back on his mark now. So it's called to go. Long ball towards the pocket. North defenders do okay. They force the boundary throw in, and it will be thrown in around about 35 metres out from the Carlton goal. They lead it by 37 points. Big second term for the Blues. So Glass McCasker, Dow around the footy, and we'll have another throw in. So Dow, he's just been thrust on in the midfield, hasn't moved out from there as well. But maybe North could potentially apply a tag. Adam, I know Werribee did it last week with the Gribble boys. He only had the 16 touches, Dow, but he's been far too influential in this game. So Glass McCasker flicks it out the back. Williamson there for the Blues, but North can transfer play. Stevens will chase the ball down for the Blues.
Hand pass just missing North. Coy fumbles just as the pressure arrived. That was from Watkins. Nice kick out wide here by Radovanovic. Motlop to Hayes, who has some space. Takes one bounce, can take a second if he likes. Decides to put boot to ball, and it was just well weighted enough for Glass McCasker. Beautiful kick in by Will Hayes. Now we'll see Jesse Glass McCasker, who did miss one in the first quarter lineup. Should have some protection from the Carlton headquarters building at this Royal Parade side of the ground, but we have seen a few kicks nonetheless still be pushed away from the goal face from this angle. Back into the side today, 2 goals for his season. Glass McCasker, and the wind is going to take that one across the face and hit the behind post. So Hall's going to reclaim it for the Kangaroos.
So that ball was looking on track until maybe the last 5 metres of trajectory. Wind really starting to pick up. So what can North do? They've struggled with this part of the game throughout the second term. They transfer play towards this broadcast side. Now they can get a bit of run and carry going. Kick out the back. Works out well. Mark taken by Edwards. He's got a couple of targets inside 450. Blues defenders do well to get back, but taking the uncontested mark. It's Walker. So Matthew Walker, he's kicked 2 goals for North today. And he will go back from 25 metres out directly in front. Much better passage of play by North Melbourne, able to switch the ball out, get on transition and get that uncontested mark deep inside forward 50. And Walker kicks his 3rd. So North bridged the margin back just a little bit. And again, Adam, that's probably more of what they need to do. They were able to clear that ball out from across fullback, get that transition going with the switch, and I think that's what hurt the Blues in that first quarter. North Melbourne were able to transfer play really quickly by foot, able to get out the back and kick some nice goals, and more of that is what they'll be asking for. Coach Lee Adams he'll be all over that transition play, but conversely the Blues have done well to be able to stop that as well.
North Melbourne also need just a little bit more cleaner entry going inside 50 as well. All 5 of the top leading ball getters on the ground are wearing navy blue here today. Dowth 26, Hayes has 16, 14 for Fogarty, 13 each for Marr and North. So only 2 of those 5 are AFL listed. We have got a majority of VFL listed players out here today for both sides. Here is Fogarty. Disposal number 15 is an inside 50 clearance. Crocker couldn't gather it. Nice tackle here by Hayes. Ball up at the top of 50 here for the Blues. It's Tom Powell handing it back to the umpire. Cripps in the ruck here against Monkhorst, who fisted it forward. Lazaro tackled as soon as he had it by Boyd. Regathered here for the Blues by Hanley. Just got his kick out in time. Anderson had almost chased him down. You might almost credit that turnover to Jed Anderson. Mark taken by Collins. Quickly got it in toward the corridor. Dangerous ball here, but Monkhorst, after dropping the mark, had some space and some time. Kick out wide by Jones. It was a difficult one to navigate. Walker. Walker again getting the 1-2. Jones over the top. Kick to the wing. Okoye getting a fist on it. Chincotta. Boyd now. Hanley. Had to wait a while for that ball to arrive. Now Okoye. Nice hand pass out. Chance here for the Blues to get a look at the sticks. It's Marr's kick on the way. And has it gone all the way? The goal umpire had to make the call because Hall was there. It did carry all the way through for Xavier Marr. And the Blues are back out to a 37-point lead.
It's fantastic play from McCoy there because he could have blazed away going inside forward 50, but took the handball instead, gave it to his teammate Imar, who was in a far better position as well. And you know, the finishing power from Xavier Marr. We saw him a couple of weeks ago thump one from outside 50 against Gold Coast, and you know, he's another player who'll be pushing for that potential mid-season spot on the Carlton list. He was, a name branded about 2 pre-seasons ago with the Blues, so potentially a midfield spot, but this midfield just getting on top for Carlton at the moment. We said potentially tagging Paddy Dow might be the way to go, but then Will Hayes pops up, Xavier Mars popped up as well, so all the big names for the Carlton VFL that have been there throughout the first 5 rounds have popped up here in round 6 and are doing all the damage. So Murkov with a big fist towards half forward. Ma, the goal scorer, laying a big bump. Hayes in there as well, lays a tackle. And we'll have a ball up. So it'll be Murkov with a distinct height advantage. Gets a tap towards Motlop. He can steady from 40 metres out. Kick off his instep. Out of bounds on the full. And North Melbourne will get the resulting free kick out of bounds on the full, and they can transfer play towards this outer side with Patrick Walker.
Got it for Murphy. Now Answorth. Over the top for Powell. So far so good for the Kangaroos. Dropped by Jones on centre wing, but did well to regather. They're quickly inside 50, out the back, in the mark taken by Walker. One end of the ground to the other again. And Matt Walker can kick his 4th. If North are any chance, this must be a goal.
Yeah, I don't think Daniel O'Keefe will be, Carlton coach will be too happy with that again. Walker able to get out the back and get almost pretty much an uncontested mark. So
he was the outnumber as well. It was a 2-on-1.
He was, and that transition play just starting to work a little better for North as well.
For goal number 4 to bring it back to 31 points. Matthew Walker. Matthew with 1 T, that is. Sprays it pretty badly. Boyd will bring it in for the Blues.
So interesting to see how North Melbourne set this one up here. Blues have really made a living in this game off their ability to turn their work at the contest into goals, and the kick in. It's a lace out pass to Williamson. Hurst is absolutely screaming for the ball, ignores that, goes to Paddy Dow instead.
27 touches.
So he would be on track for definitely the most touches he's had in his VFL career. Over to Carl, who goes towards half forward. Murkov. It's going to be a free kick, but the umpire will call advantage, and now they can transfer play through the middle here, North Melbourne. Little kick over the top from McGuinness was okay, and now they can go through the middle here, North Melbourne.
Lazaro. Lateral ball. Murphy was quickly wanting to take advantage of the outnumber. McGuinness down the line. Now Hinkley has it. Can North find a target inside 50 here? Hinkley will set it high for the hot spot. Number of flies. Walker from behind. Another chance for Matt Walker to kick number 4.
He has been super dangerous up forward this quarter for North. It's been the focal point for them. Their deepest target. And, Blues, albeit at what looks to be a comfortable lead, they probably want to lock down on this fella. He's looked very dangerous in this term.
North's deficit is 36 points before this kick. Jed Anderson coming on. Fogarty coming on for the Blues as well. But all eyes on Matt Walker to make it a 5-goal game. That's a better kick. He's got 4. But his Kangaroos are down by 5.
Very interesting. The Carlton VFL team have not really dropped away. The Carlton VFL team have not really dropped away like the AFL Carlton team have in second halves. But sometimes those things can be a little bit of a play, Adam. So North Melbourne, I think they would like what they see in this third term with regards to their transition and their efficiency going inside forward 50 now. We saw last week it was a problem against Frankston. They did have almost even numbers going inside forward 50, but were beaten by 44 points. Second half is looking much more cleaner and much more efficient as they go inside forward 52. So Blues need to clamp down a little bit here.
Carlton is still plus 16 in inside 50s, 41-25.
So Murkov with a tap down. Stepped out of trouble. Handball to Boyd, to Fogarty, back to Boyd. Kick inside forward 50. Cripps is the target and he's got him. Sensational ball movement by Carlton through the middle. And they can get a responding goal in an instant here.
Just had a couple looks, did kick a goal late in the second quarter, Josh Cripps.
Josh Cripps, tight angle. That's kick is going to go way across the face of goal. It's not even going to register a score. Carl was in there. Crocker spinning his way through trouble. Handball back to Motlop. Just slipped at a critical stage. Dow did as well. Went back in there to try to win the footy. Little handball from Glass McCasker to Fogarty. North defenders do well to relieve the trouble. 2-on-1 here though in favour of the Blues. Radovanovic, good mark. And the Blues can go back inside forward 50.
It's fairly flooded though for Steph Radovanovic. Holds on to it for a moment. Then lobs one intended, I think, for Glass McCasker. Crocker waiting for it out the back. Kyron Hayden has him tangled up pretty efficiently, and we've got a ball up. 28 touches now for Paddy Dow. Fogarty next best with 17. For North Melbourne, Marty Hall and Hamish Murphy both have 13. Chincotta in front of Hinkley. It's going to bounce Hinkley's way. Picks it up now, but Chincotta had enough pressure on him. Murphy, that's a brilliant smother by Chincotta. Wins it back brilliantly. Now it's Motlop. Gets rid of one tackler. Right foot snap. Jesse Motlop with a great highlight. That's his first. North might have been building some momentum, but that kills it. And it's back out to 36 points.
That smother across half forward was absolutely phenomenal.
Alex
and
Chincotta.
That was sensational from Chincotta, and that is going to be highlighted multiple times throughout the player review that they do after this game.
He's absolutely spent as well. I've just seen him come off the ground here, Paul, and he's absolutely spent.
He laid a tackle, laid a bump, then went back in there, laid an enormous smother, and how's a finish from Jesse Motlop as well. He'd been building towards something like that in this game. Bit of live wire up front for the Blues, but just hadn't really been able to get onto any of the finishing product. But magnificent stuff from Chincotta. Blues backline has been desperate all day, and the tone was set early by Brodie Kemp, who looks like he has potentially made his way from the ground, so probably just on restricted minutes. I think Lou has definitely taken his spot as that spare in defence. Dow wrapped up in the tackle, got the handball out to Ma. Try to go back to Dow. North midfielders do well to win back possession. Anderson with the clearing kick. It's all Blues though. Radovanovic, he's had a really good game. And the kick towards the outer side. Williamson played it really intelligently. And now the Blues can go through centre wing.
Crocker dropping the mark though in front of Kyron Hayden. Does get it back. Had to use his vision for Murkov. He's taken a couple of good marks today, Alex Murkov. Protected area maybe. No. Some leeway given to Tom Powell. Big right foot ball by Murkov. Motlop again lurking, but Collins in position A. Picking it off for North Melbourne. Find themselves down by 6 straight kicks at the moment. Collins has to hurry up. Some pressure applied by Glass McCasker. Gets his kick out, but it's going to come back in. Lou took the mark for the Blues. Little right foot ball, a little bit of space there for Cripps, but Hayden got back, got a fist on it. Alec Wright won't be able to keep that alive. He might have temporarily, but then Hanley made sure he went out of bounds.
So, Blues looking to really extend this halftime margin. Gone into time on here of this third term. So it'll be Cripps now to do battle in the ruck. Ma may have taken his opponent high. Yeah, he did indeed. Free kick will go the way of North Melbourne. Looks like it'll go the way of Jacob Edwards. So he's going to come back towards fullback, and North looks like they do have the switch out. They do indeed. So the target here is Lazaro. Just sits up. He had to go. Akoi did really well to cause the intercept. Motlop, handball's dangerous. Fogarty smashed in the sternum. He's still down. We'll keep an eye on that. Now North Melbourne, they cause a turnover. They come towards a broadcast side. Radovanovic takes the mark. He's been phenomenal in those situations. His kick inside, a dangerous one. Hanley went up with the one hand, fell fortuitously into the lap of Philp. North to Dow. He's got Williamson. He can kick a goal from 45 metres. Tom Williamson, low driving ball, and he gets it. '86 plays 44. We will keep an eye on Lockie Fogarty, who was crunched.
The other injury concern is for Charlie Lazaro after getting clanged up by Don McCoy. He's come off the ground limping in the hands of a trainer. So an injury on each side here. As we cut back now to Fogarty. He's a little better off than what Charlie Lazaro was when he limped off the ground. Had the wind taken out of him, I think, Fogarty, but Lazaro, that could be a genuine injury concern for North Melbourne, which they can't afford.
And he's one of the youngsters who pushed his way up into the North Melbourne team last year. And he had looked lively in patches throughout this game, but him coming off, he's off for the rest of the day. If it's something more serious, we'll hopefully it isn't anything too serious, but as you said, we'll keep an eye on that, Adam.
Yeah, much more worse for wear than what Fogarty was. So we're back in the middle. Tapped down by Moncourse, tried to pick out Phillips, but it didn't work out that way because Dow instead gets disposal number 31 inside 50, but Alec Wright takes the relieving mark here for the Kangaroos. Toward the outer side, Williamson couldn't take it. Walker. Murphy around the corner. Double tap there by Murkoff. Very effective indeed for Trudgeon. Hurst. Chincotta back out on the ground. Setting one up for the top of the square. Cripps couldn't take the mark, but was he held? He was, and he'll get a shot on an angle, but pretty much point blank range.
How smart was that from Murkoff? That was, I don't want to say, but I think that was the volleyball background coming onto the football field there.
Push it forward with both hands. Not something you see all that often.
But effective, as you said, Adam, nonetheless.
Cripps for number 2 to extend the lead out to 48 points. Got 2 last week. Has 2 today. Does Josh Cripps. 8-goal ball game.
Yeah, this is starting to get out of hand now for North Melbourne. It's not being able to stop the likes of Dow and Hayes around the contest, and it's allowing easy entries inside 50 for the Blues. All those dangerous targets they've got up forward now. Cripps, Motlop, even Crocker's getting into his game, and full time as well around the grounds at Piranha Park. The Magpies with a huge win. 18-18, 126 to Coburg, 210-22, 104-point win for the Pies. Oliver Henry kicked 7. Mason Cox with 3. Ended up with 21 touches as well, 25 hit-outs. So those two definitely pushing their case for a spot in the senior side for the Magpies. But closer to home here at Icon Park. Big tackle laid by Glass McCasker. Umpire called play on. Dow went back in there to win possession. Got a handball out. It's okay. They can figure it out towards the defensive side of the wing. And Sam Philp takes the mark between wing and half back. He's got Hurst and Trudgeon up the ground. He goes in the Trudgeon direction. Kick is a good one, and he takes the mark. Smack bang centre wing.
Looking inboard initially, then he gets told to play on. Has to back. Stevens, Hanley, Akoi, Hurst overruns it. That's where it comes unstuck. Guthrie then fumbled. Put into the turf illegally by Hayes. Josh Guthrie will claim the free kick here at half-back. Youngest brother of the Guthrie clan. He has nothing obvious to go to. So he lobs one high. Radovanovic going up. Left his man behind, who was Anderson, who got it on the rebound, then got tackled by Steph Radovanovic, and we've got a ball up.
Have to like his game today, Adam. He's been really good aerially as well, and his use by foot has been fantastic as well.
14 touches, 6 marks and a goal for Radovanovic. Boyd going vertical. Not out of bounds on the full according to the boundary umpire. Touched out of play. It's suddenly got dark and gloomy here over Icon Park. This now the only game on in Smithies VFL. Collingwood have shot up to second on the ladder after that 100-plus point win against Coburg. That brings Carlton down to fourth. The Blues will be well and truly on track to reclaim second spot on the ladder. Percentage will become a factor there as well. Dib one way than the other. Worried out of his kick. Did well to follow up. Anderson fumbling at the crucial moment. Almost got cleaned up by Boyd. Stevens had to work his way around Edwards. That was a brilliant handball by Hayes. Comes unstuck though. Collins gets it back for the Roos.
So Collins is called to go. Long inside forward 50. Glass McCasker went up with the one hand. Radovanovic was there for the Blues. Lou with the handball to Hayes. Boundary line beats them all though. Trudgeon sees it over. And we'll have it tossed in. Creeping closer to three-quarter time here at Icon Park. You're watching live on the AFL app. Round 6 of the Smithies VFL. Blues doing it comfortably at the moment. They've kicked 5 straight in this third term from the restart. Trudgeon kick up the line. It's a 2-on-1 in favour of the Roos. The fist comes over the back from Marty Hall. And we'll have it tossed in between wing and half forward for the Roos. They've managed only the 2 goals in this second quarter, third term, rather. So Murkoff from the restart. Ma kick towards Glass McCasker, just over his head. Got the mitt to it, but North Melbourne try to get back in there to win the football. Now they've got a couple of runners and they can figure it out via hand. Trying to step through trouble was Harry Jones. Kick inside is okay. And now the field opens up for North.
Answorth going inboard. Lipscomb back to Answorth. Decided not to give to McGuinness. Just enough pressure there from Chincotta, who's been very good in that area today. High contact free kick taken by Carl. Williamson out wide. It's going to bounce in front of Crocker. Has some space on Kyron Hayden. Crocker reels around onto the right foot. Goes short for North. Left foot ball from him. Hurst on the lead. Archer accompanying him as the ball eventually crosses the line for a boundary throw-in. Blues looking for win number 5 in this Smithies VFL season. North looking for their 3rd. But they are down by 48 points.
Yeah, the inside 50 count really lopsided as well, 49-28. It was around 23-17 at one stage in the second half.
Ball came down to Xavier Ma. Crocker gets rid of his man. Umpire said play on. He doesn't care. He'll just dribble it through anyway. It's been threatening to get that second goal for a while. Ben Crocker finally does. Now equal leader in the Frosty Miller medal with 16 goals for the season.
Yeah, as a player, as was saying before, the inside 50 count is just, the Blues are just winning too much field territory from stoppages as well, and North's defenders are just weighted numbers working in favour of Carlton now, and we said that they've got so many dangerous targets deep inside forward 50 as well, and now Ben Crocker getting in on the action. Has been an even spread, but as you said, Crocker be threatening to kick that second goal all day, and intelligent play from him. He wasted no time, put the ball on his boot, threw the goals, and another one for the Blues, and close to bringing up the ton now inside the third term. It's been a big second and third quarter for the Blues. As we get back underway, Hayes, handball to Phil, to Chincotta, to Murkov, to Ma. They figure it out via hand, slicing their way through the North press. Archie Stevens, one of the debutants for Carlton, his kick to the pocket's a lovely kick. Glass McCasker comes out, takes the mark.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. So we had Glass McCasker with a shot after the siren in the first term. We had Benny Crocker with a shot after the siren at half time. And now Glass McCasker will have a shot after the siren in the third term.
Once the umpire's happy with the angle he's going to take.
And we've seen these set shots, they are quite difficult, especially with the breeze coming from that right-hand goalpost towards the left-hand goalpost. So a tough kick for Glass McCasker. This is probably the toughest of the lot. This kick on the way is well and truly across the face, and it will not register a score. So scores here at three-quarter time, 15.
North Melbourne languishing in 15th as we start the final term. That's Icon Park. Good bounce to get it underway. Murkoff tapped it to the wrong man. Powell going forward. Radovanovic takes the relieving mark for the Blues.
So Radovanovic, he drives this one outside defensive 50. Hurst the target off hands, and now Philp. He's got support in Chincotta, ignores that, goes long to a one-on-one inside 50. Crocker the target, had it well fisted away from him. North defenders do well, stepping in and out of trouble there. Or his kick around the body is okay, and now North can transfer play through half back. So Cade Answorth goes long up the line. Coy had front spot, but a big mark again. That man, Radovanovic, comes across and takes the mark.
Mark number 7 for the game for Steph Radovanovic. We go towards half forward once more. This, Paul, is what we call kick to kick.
Yes, indeed.
Right now, it's in the hands of Harry Jones. Sideways for Lipscomb. Ignores Jackson Archer. He's looking longer. No, he keeps it low. So nothing really in the end. Hayes affecting the contest. Williamson cannot escape the tackle of Yusuf Dib. Play continues. Boyd with the tackle. Ball up.
I think the kick inside from Lipscomb was intended for Collins because he was free, but just the execution wasn't there, and the umpire blindsided by that Williamson throw as well, Adam.
Glass McCasker doing some ruck work here. North Melbourne ball, Monkhorst, Collins hugging the boundary line with his kick. It takes one bounce and goes over before Hinkley can get anywhere near it.
So it will be Monkhorst to do battle in the ruck with Glass McCasker, who's been sooled up into the ruck duty. Monkhorst one front spot. North can get this clearance through Will Phillips. He drives it long inside forward 50. Matthew Walker's there. Akoi was wrapped up. Is that holding the ball? It is. Incorrect disposal.
See Lazaro back out there.
So he copped a big knock in that third term, and now he's back up and about. Got his revenge.
Got his revenge on Don McCoy there.
So Charlie Lazaro will line up from around about 30 metres out. Slide angle.
Did kick one in the first quarter today, Charlie Lazaro. He's only had the 7 touches.
So he comes in and he kicks the goal. So North get the first of the last quarter. 98 plays 50. And that's good reward for effort there from Lazaro. He still looks like he's hobbling though. So he gets his second of the day. North get their 8th.
Paul, you'll be half interested in what happens at Marvel tonight between these two sides.
Yes, very interested being a mad blue bagger. But no, I think it's going to be an intriguing game because North have won 5 out of the last 6 against the Blues. And, you know, North getting the chocolates over them last year as well. So, you know, mentality is going to be a big thing for Carlton. They are expected to win the Blues this evening, but North coming off consecutive 10-goal losses in the AFL. So they'll elicit some sort of a response tonight, you'd think.
Murkoff wins the tap against Monkhorst, but Powell read it better. Got the clearance for North Melbourne. Mark is taken here by Answorth. Wants to get on with it quickly. But it's going to be one back here by Lou for the Blues, and he'll go short for Williamson. We've seen him do it at both ends today. Has 3 goals. A couple of highlights among those as he goes with a lowish ball toward the wing. Not much that Murkoff could do. Trudgeon did well to get his hand pass out toward Carl, and now Crocker Too far from home, though. It's an empty square. Sets it up for the goal square now. Hurst got caught behind. Ends up with McGuinness. It's going to be dumped out by Murphy. Collins unable to take the mark. Trudgeon gets it back for the Blues. Another inside 50, which results in a turnover. This time it's Hall going to Phillips.
So North Melbourne, can they get that transition going? Chincotta worried his opponent out of it in Hinkley. Went to chase after the footy, just overran it. Lou's there for company. Puts his body on the line, does really well. Hinkley was met solidly in that bump. Williamson back inside. Chincotta up towards half forward. The kick's a lovely one as well. Diving, taking the mark is Hayes. His kick to Trudgeon. So Trudgeon, he's going to be called back on his mark here. And he'll probably have to go back and have the shot by the looks of it. So Joel Trudgeon, he'll kick from just inside forward 50, you'd think. Is to restore the 3/4 time lead that the Blues posted. So Trudgeon, steady approach. Shot towards goal. He's just going to stay out towards that right-hand side. So Blues one away from the ton. They lead it by 49 points. 5.5 minutes gone in this final term.
Hall holds on to it. The legend stands ends of the grounds here. This famous Sycon Park. Straight down the middle, Murkov, the big fist. Then the fumble from Lou. Ends up in North Melbourne hands. Right. Trying to set one up over the top, but has given Dibb quite a task here. Gets it now, uses Dibb. Just got his hand pass out in time because it was a good tackle by North to hold him up. High contact and a free kick here going the Kangaroos' way. And it will indeed be Yusuf Dibb, who often does find himself in the middle of those sorts of situations. Does go in hard for the ball. 11 touches for the day. Handy in front of goal as well. Has kicked 3 for the season. Lazaro coming off again here for North Melbourne. Still not looking exactly 100%. I wonder if he goes onto the ice for the rest of the day now.
Yeah, he came off looking very, very ginger there.
So Yusuf Dibb winning the free kick. It's been very difficult for goal kicking in that particular pocket. He misses to the near side. And Boyd will bring it in for the Blues and go to Lou.
So Lou, he's come in and played the role that Brody Kemp was playing earlier in this game, and he's played it with great aplomb. Philp, handball, a darting ball outside of defensive 50s, a beauty to Hayes. He's got targets further afield. One of those is Carl. Josh Cripps screaming for it out the back here. Ignores that. North Melbourne do get back in numbers here. Kick inside forward 50. Williamson's there. Takes the mark, and he's dealt with after he takes the mark.
I don't know where he's playing. He is all over the ground at the moment. He's Tom Williamson having a very good day.
Very intriguing too. I mean, he was sort of, I think in the early part of his career was playing across half-back and through the wing, and I think through this year he's really been thrown forward of centre, playing an attacking wing role and playing on the ball a lot more as well. And, well, this for his 4th goal. What can he conjure up from the pocket? A little bit too much bend on that one. So, through for one behind. Blues crack the ton. They lead it by 49 points.
It's Marty Hall once more. And once more, doesn't have anything to go to. Long to the contest, his best option. But Glass McCasker wins it back for Carlton. Took a nice contested mark. Again, we go deep inside 50. Crocker staying down. Then Motlop had it bounce away from him. Falls to Hayes. Cripps with the snap. Did that last week against Werribee, but he can't convert here. He'll stay on 2 goals for his day. Now Collins will wait for the crowd to give the ball back to him. No, in fact, it'll be McGuinness to bring it in.
Nice kick out by the young fella in the Legends stand as well. So McGuinness will take the resulting kick in. And he goes short. It's not too bad. Carl almost came in and caused the spoil. Mark taken by Hoare. He drives this one up towards half-back. Blues are going to cause a turnover. Handball back. Going to go inside forward 50. Geez, it was a fortuitous kick from North. Skewed right off his instep and it fell in the lap of Carl. And he just tells his teammates to calm things down. Takes the mouth guard out. And he will go back and try to drive through Carlton's 16th of the day.
Been good today. He's already kicked the one, but 17 touches now coming up for him. Has the 4 marks and a couple of clearances. Former
Essendon VFL listed player is Ned Carl, so steady approach from him. He comes in and he's kicked the goal. So Carl gets Carlton's 16th of the day, and they have now skipped out to a 56-point lead here at Icon Park. And it's looking like it's going to be a big win and a big percentage booster for the Blues. They'll creep back up into the top 4. And Daniel O'Keefe will be very pleased with what he's seen today. And we could be in for a big final quarter as well. That has been the strength of the Blues this year.
Yeah, Carlton eyeing off second spot at the moment on the ladder. GWS will have a chance to leapfrog them tomorrow when they go to Kramer Street to take on the Northern Bull Ants. Southport taking on Casey is another big game as well. So that's actually going to be next week. Southport have the bye this week. 7 games in Smithy's VFL tomorrow. This is Marr. Inside 50 once more we go. Cripps can't take the mark. Trudgeon. Hurst. It's going to end up with Hayes, but he's got no room. Philp has his kick smothered. And that should be a ball up.
Just too fast, too strong and too slick, this Blues outfit today. Been fantastic at the contest since quarter time.
Enjoying a 56-point lead here to Blues. High ball, tough one, the mark there for Murphy. It's going to be dumped out of defensive 50. Wobbling ball. Radovanovic couldn't take the mark, but he's done well to keep it with Carlton here. Chincotta. Now Philp to Cripps. Back to Philp. Again has his kick smothered, this time by Archer. Ends up back with Cripps once more. Got his hand pass out. Inboard the kick comes, but no mark was taken by Dibb in the end. Some ugly footy all round, holding the ball and a free kick for Carlton. It's going to be taken by Alex Chincotta.
Pressure from the Blues. They've hunted in packs since quarter time, and as we said, their ability around the contest to be able to flick it out after the pressure and cause a turnover has been brilliant all day.
Goalless so far today, Alex Chincotta, and will stay that way.
So the Blues still pressing hard, even though the result is all but certainly beyond doubt now. North Melbourne go up the middle. Looks like it was almost going to be a turnover. Hayes just couldn't juggle the football. North Melbourne flicked the ball towards the outside, broadcast side right. Williamson went in, tried to cause a turnover by foot. Handball came out to Lipscomb. He gets it to Edwards. Handball inside is okay. Now it might just open up a little bit here for North Melbourne. So long ball inside forward 50. Chincotta did really well against him to cause the intercept mark. And now the Blues can just slow things down across half-back and build up methodically towards half-forward.
Crockett goes down and gave away the free kick according to the umpire. It's going to be claimed by Marty Hall. Pressed on Collingwood's VFL list, had a stint with Melbourne on the AFL list, and Back VFL listed now here with North Melbourne. Jones around his man and finds Monkhorst in the forward pocket. Zach Monkhorst, who we haven't seen yet at VFL level until today.
Yeah,
bring the margin back to 51.
His battle between Murkov. He's been outdone in the ruck. Murkov 32 hit-outs to Monkhorst 14. But he has toiled away all day, and hopefully he can get a little bit of reward for effort on the end of some good gut-busting running and outmarking Alex Murkov, which is no easy feat given how big Alex Murkov is.
For North Melbourne's 9th goal today, Zach Monkhorst. Right football is good. They do get that goal, North Melbourne. 51-point ball game at Icon Park. A smattering of reactions around the crowd from some of the North fans that are here today. Of course, they'll be getting ready for tonight's game at Marvel.
Yeah, they'll be hoping for a little bit of a better result at that game tonight under the roof. But hopefully for their sake they can keep this at a respectable margin. I think this last term now with, as we said, 4 points pretty much locked and sewn away for the Blues, Northwood. Last thing you want to do is go through the motions. You still want to be able to try to play the way that you did coming into the game too. Still trying to figure out their way through transition and try to get through the Blues defence by hand as well. But Carlton have been able to lock down, as we said, that transition that North Melbourne showed throughout the first quarter when it was pretty much 4 goals apiece. Carlton carrying that only three-point margin into the quarter-time break. It's been, as we said, just been taken away from them. So from the restart, Murkov, Motlop being thrown onto the ball now. He gets a clearing kick inside forward 50. Glass McCaskill's there for the Blues, but Archer getting back for North. His kick over there to his target. Williamson led in. He's wrapped up. Archer went back in to clean up the mess. Made a good tackle on Williamson, and we'll have a ball up across half forward here for the Blues. They lead it 108 to 57.
For a couple of weeks running, it's rather difficult to find too many positives, unfortunately, for the North Melbourne supporters watching. The top 2 leading ball getters on the ground are VFL listed Marty Hoare and Hamish Murphy. 16 for Tom Powell. Will Phillips has 15 from the AFL list. Boundary throw in here. Their best player last week was Callum Coleman-Jones. He'll be stepping up to the top level tonight. Motlop kicked a nice goal in the third. This one's going to land in the pocket. Hoare couldn't mark it.
Oh.
And what's that? Ned Carl out of nothing. Wow, his name is spelt the same way as a great former Socceroo, but pronounced differently, and there was a bit of Tim Cahill in that.
That was, everyone sort of stood still and was waiting for the ball to go over the goal line, and I think that's just really been, that's his game personified in one passage of play. He's always lively around the ball, looking to steal the ball off opposition. He's fleet-footed as well, and the finish was superb too, so he's kicked 3 for the day. He's been fantastic, and he has been one of the dangerous sort of small to medium-sized forwards that Daniel O'Keefe and Carlton will be really pleased with throughout the 6 rounds, throughout the opening 6 rounds of this season too. So the Blues midfield getting right on top, and their forwards getting right on top as well. And I think for North Melbourne too, it looks like, I don't think we've seen much of Jed Anderson in this last quarter. I think he may have been potentially taken from the ground on restricted minutes, and it's just meant that, that's the numbers for the Blues.
Very good in the first half.
Numbers for the Blues around the ball have just been getting out of hand. And Murkov, handball to Boyd, inside forward 50. The Blues go again, but coming across, taking a good defensive mark is Marty Hoare.
He's been good today. Very good player at this level, Marty Hoare. Kate Answorth now has it. Has nothing to go to. Answorth has to switch it. Made Walker work for it. Patrick Walker now has it. No one on the mark here. Down the line, kick needs to be precise there for Hinkley. Couldn't take it. Carlton get the turnover. Mars being good today as well for the Blues. Kick goes looking for Chincotta. Ends up with Phillips. Inboard for Murphy. Short ball's okay. Kangaroos ball now through Matt Walker. Has 4 goals for the day.
Yeah, he's been the mainstay up forward for North Melbourne. Looks like it's going to be a turnover. No, Williamson clipping his opponent in Answorth High, and now they can go through centre wing. Driving ball up towards half forward. Murkoff stood under it, got a fist to it. North was there for the Blues. Went back in there, got the handball to Chincotta. Goes to Lou. Back to Chincotta on the left boot. Collins sitting under it. So's Glass McCasker went up. Bodies flying everywhere. North Melbourne win possession back. And Marty Hall across half back goes inside. It's a good kick. Taking the mark is Patrick Walker, and he goes through the middle for North. And Jack Watkins takes the mark at centre half forward.
Some leads are on offer. He decides to go back longer toward the top of the square. A Coy in front position. Got fist on it. Lipscomb was just off balance as he got his shot. Went very high in the air, not very far. Not even the 15 required metres for the mark to be paid to Xavier Marr. Glass McCasker now has it for the Blues.
Little wry smile in front of Matt McGuinness as well.
Fist on the ball there from Trudgeon and from Hall, who gets it from Collins. Kicks it to where there are a lot of Blues players, and Glass McCasker gets it back for Carlton. Fair to say the Stings out of this one at Icon Park. Ball goes out of play. Blues now 5-1. Currently second on the ladder, but could be leapfrogged by GWS tomorrow.
It could be indeed. GWS have had a fast start to the VFL season as well. And just going back to that passage of play there, Jesse Glass McCasker taking that uncontested mark, but you could probably hear through the effects mic one of his teammates saying, "Clear, Jesse, clear." So even in the last quarter with the game wrapped up, the Blues still communicating as well, and they've been played really, really well as a team unit. So stoppage here in between wing and half forward for North Melbourne. Cripps and Moncourse do battle in the ruck. Lovely tap down from Cripps. Hayes just spent it as he grabbed it. Trudgeon tried to avoid the tackle of Jones, who wraps him up, takes him to the ground. Umpire says you had no prior. And we'll have another ball up, pretty much from whence we did before. Moncourse won the tap. Hayes waiting on the outside, one possession. Snap around the body, all North Melbourne here though. Intercept mark taken by Alec Wright.
Loose option in the middle is another touch coming up for Marty Hall. This will be 24. Short ball for Walker. Jackson Archer now has it. Daniel's boy going inside, not Daniel, that's a different player completely. My apologies there, North Melbourne fans. We go inside 50 and a shot on goal coming up for Lipscomb.
Glenn's boy.
Daniel Archer played one single game for St Kilda, now playing locally for West Coburg.
West Coburg, yes indeed. That's my old club, Adam, down at the EDFL.
Yep.
They're down there, EDFL Div 1.
They're going okay against Tullamarine today in the EDFL. Big game there. Lipscomb gets his shot going across the face and through for a minor score. Sorry, Glenn, if you're listening or watching. He's probably here today.
I'm sure he is, Adam.
He was
I'm
up
sure
at
he is.
Frankston. He was in the crowd last week watching Jackson ply his trade.
I'm sure he's got the smartphone up right next to his ear on the AFL app. Smithy's VFL round 6 action. Hayes to Williamson, tried to step inside his opponent. Now, I think this is a high fend off, or is it a high free kick to Williamson? Yeah, he got taken eye as he was tackled. So, Hayes towards Trudgeon, went up with the one hand, had it fisted away from him. Glass McCasker trying to lay the tackle on Moncourse. Wright got the handball back to his target in Hayden. He was wrapped up as soon as he won possession. Kick by Wright. He was tackled as he tried to kick that. And the umpire's going to come in and call for a ball up. Xavier Marr getting up after being slung down in the tackle. Cripps gets front spot in the ruck contest. Marr and Trudgeon in there for the Blues. The sandwich in between Tom Powell, Hayes and Ma. So from the restart, Jones. There's this one up towards Matt Walker. And as we said, he's kicked 4 goals for North Melbourne, playing a lone hand up front for them today. He's got it at centre wing.
Keeps it low. Hinkley. North Melbourne 2 kicks from goal here. Powell. Holds on to it for a moment. Then goes deep into the pocket, and very late was Matt Walker, but he does well to take the mark and might have bowled over Radovanovic in the process.
A fantastic mark from Matt Walker. He had the ball at centre wing only moments ago, and look, as we keep saying, we know the game is beyond doubt now, but the ability to rip back and still be able to take that ball is fantastic.
For number 5. Can't get it. It's 4 goals, 2 for the day for Matt Walker.
So 114 plays 59. Blues with a big win here. Saturday afternoon at Icon Park. Short kick towards North. Had to try to mop up the mess, Radovanovic. His kick around the body. And now is there going to be a free kick to North Melbourne? There is indeed. Collins takes the advantage. His kick was smothered. Lou tried to step through trouble. Handball to Williamson was cut off. North Melbourne go back inside forward 50. Forcing the ball forward was Phillips. Flying shot towards goal. He's going to go across the face, and it's not going to register a score. Love it tossed in. Next to the left behind post here. 26 minutes gone in the final term.
18 disposals, 8 marks, and a goal for Steph Radovanovic today for the Blues. In fact, made that 19 touches. It's just ticked over on the stat sheet. Paddy Dow, who got 15 in the first quarter, ended his day on 32 on... Well, he's still out there, but has not really been near the ball too much in the second half. Thought maybe he'd be on managed minutes. But
I think so, yeah.
He's still out there at the moment.
Yeah, I think he hasn't really been on in this 4th term. I think he's been kept on the bench for quite a while.
15 in the first quarter for Paddy Dow today. Will Hayes up to 29. He's averaging 36. Ball's in the hands of Boyd here. 35. Will Hayes averaging. Williamson. Boyd. Here is Hayes. Up to the 30s now. Will Hayes goes out wide for Philp. Has Patrick Walker with him. Bounce is ultimately going to favour Philp. Goes back by hand to Murkov. Bouncing ball through to Cripps. How's the vision here? Hayes just worried out of it illegally, according to the umpire. So Will Hayes will get a long-range shot at number 2. Now I'm wondering if the siren's going to go, because after all 3 quarters we've seen a Carlton shot at goal. In each of the first 3 quarters after the siren, we're only 27.5 in to this last quarter, so maybe not.
Tell you what, in all the AFL and VFL I've watched, I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Will Hayes for number 2 has to give it everything, and a fly for the ball is claimed by Crocker. This for the outright lead in the Frosty Miller medal. And it is after the siren. How about that? But he's halfway through his kick, and it won't count. Oh, wow. Bit of late drama here at Icon Park. Big win for the Blues. 17-12, 114. North Melbourne, 9-5-59.